Hi, I'm Paige Duncan, the town manager for the town of Foxborough. I'm here today with Chief Michael Grace, and we are in front of the Public Safety Building to talk about a project that is being considered not only at town meeting, but also at the ballot. So the election this year is May 6th, and then the town meeting is May 13th. And on the ballot and the warrant for town meeting are three important projects. And the one we're here to talk about today is the public safety building and the need for a locker room expansion. So Chief Grace, why don't you just tell us a little bit about why there needs to be a locker room? It seems to be catching a lot of folks by surprise.
Thank you, Paige. So here we are in front of the public safety building. Obviously, you live in town, you drive by, and it's a beautiful looking building. And the idea is that this is brand new. Why do we need to spend money at the public safety building? Well, a little historical information is this building was designed 20 years ago based on completion in 2007. Construction started in 2005, and designs were probably around 2004. During that time, policing has changed. The department has changed. The women's locker room is definitely undersized and was underutilized in 2004, and now it is filled to capacity. It doesn't allow for any more expansion for the agency to diversify the rank and file. And I think when we take a look inside and we go in and we meet the officers who work in those conditions, you'll see the need. It's very small, it's cramped, and I don't want to call and say it was an afterthought during construction, but just that things have changed. The rank and file of the agency has changed so much, and as we move forward, we're asking the residents of Foxborough to please support this. Please support the women of the Foxborough Police Department, and please allow the police department to expand and hire more women in the future so we have space for them. Shall we go inside?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Can you just tell us a little bit about the current situation with the locker room? The project is to expand the women's locker room, and I've personally seen it, and we're going to be showing folks it. But can you just describe a little bit of what it's like to work in that locker room and how it functions for you professionally?
I think the biggest thing is majority of us females, we work on day shift or are going to be starting to work on day shift. So that's where majority of the issues arise, where it's there's two lockers in two rows, and then there's a divider right in the center of a bench, and then bumping our backs when we're all crowded on day shift. But yeah.
I would just say it may be a relatable issue to many, but if there are any families out there who are forced to share a bathroom, you know what it's like when everybody is trying to get ready at 7 a.m. to start their day, and we have anywhere from 3 to 6 women trying to get ready for shift, and of course we all have to be prepared for duty, dressed to the nines, looking presentable for the town and each other. So it gets tight in there. It's small. It's a small space.
Yeah, it's kind of hard when I'm trying to kick my sergeant out of the mirror in the morning. It's same. There's one.
Takes a lot of time. It does.
She's got a lot of hair. But there's one small shower. Like we said, a lot of us work out, so everyone's kind of fighting for that in the morning. There's one small sink area.
In response to what they said, as far as the shift goes, but we're a multifunctional department, which means that we have officers here that are here for details during the day for road jobs. We also have officers that are on shift, and then officers that might be coming in for something that's happened at Gillette Stadium, which means that we share the locker room with other officers, reserve officers that are working for the department, which also makes it more crowded. So in the event that officers are changing for a shift, you might have officers coming in to use the facilities before they go up to the stadium or before they go to a road job. I think also, in addition to that, to keep in mind that we also deal with lots of incidents that would require us to come in and change that aren't scheduled, where we need more space in our lockers to make sure that we are able to keep our uniforms there. I know for myself, I keep a lot of things at home because we don't have the space to keep the weather changing uniforms that we often need, which could be from rain to just anything that we could be exposed to that could be on our uniform. So to have more space to be able to do that, to have more showers and bathrooms to be able to clean off after that, we just don't have the opportunity to do that and in a conducive way that we could get back and be ready for shift.
I think just to echo what Sergeant Collins was saying, I agree. I think for myself, I'm going into different kinds of houses, seeing different things. I might want to come back and shower or change or keep a spare set of clothes just for those one-off visits. It's just really great to have that extra space, and I think the department's grown in terms of the female officers and the female bodies in this side of the building, and I think it would just be a great addition.
And can I jump in real quick?
Of course.
So we have changed a lot, and I think when they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, when you see the locker room, I don't want to say it was an afterthought, but there wasn't a need on the agency when the building was built. And when you see the size of it and you realize that we can't even grow as an agency to the next step because we're maxed out. Christina right now, she doesn't even have a locker. She has no place to put her equipment. The size of the lockers are 2 feet in size. Right now, our uniform policy has changed so much, the requirements of how we carry our uniforms, what we wear on a day-to-day basis, whether it be body camera, radio chargings. We have 3 different uniforms under the policy. We have exterior vest carriers, and body armor is now a mandate. 20 years ago, it was not a mandated under the grants, so all of the body armor has to be worn for every single shift. Well, that requires a dry time. It has to sit, it gets wet, and there's no place for any of them to dry. And it actually starts to break down the integrity of the vest, and it's recommended that they have an area to hang. So all of these, and when you see the locker room, it is absolutely highly recommended. You do not wear your uniforms home. We walk into scenarios, especially on our boots, where you do not want to take what's on the ground back to your family and on the rugs in your house. So everybody has at least 3 pairs of boots, whether you're going to court, whether you're working shift. And it's just inadequate, and the time is now. The team has really put a well-thought process together about how to minimize costs. Bill Euchner and his team, using Tony and Carl, have designed a process that they're going to be the general contractors to save the town as much money as possible. And essentially, we're looking at about a 24-foot bump out of the men's locker room, which is the size of the expansion for the women's locker room. And I do want to touch upon one thing that Sergeant Collins talked about is on game day for all the major events at Gillette, which we had 25 of them. The booking team down here is 50% women because 50% of the custodies end up being women. These are outside offices, mostly sheriffs from around 3 different counties. They have a traffic post that's assigned throughout the town, but then when they come in to do the booking process, all of their uniforms, their duty belts are removed because you can't have firearms in the booking area. Currently, I don't have a spot to secure those firearms because we have no lockers left. So on top of that, we are also asking all of the women working to share 1 toilet and 1 shower on a regular and 1 sink. It's unacceptable. It shouldn't be happening. So that's why we're asking the taxpayers to support this project and this initiative.
So, Chief, we're in back of the public safety building now, and I thought it'd be good for you to let the public know what exactly is proposed and where and why. So if you want to just give us a little orientation of what we're looking at here and where the plan is to expand, that would be helpful.
Thank you, Paige. This is the back of the public safety building, and this is where the back of the men's and locker room is situated within the public safety building. As you can see, the air handler for the entire building for the heating and air conditioning is directly behind the women's locker room. Unfortunately, the cost of moving that would push the project to a price that was not what we would like to see spent. So the decision based on the engineers was to expand the women's locker room into the men's locker room, which you'll see, and then push out the men's locker room 24 feet. That essentially is the cheapest way and maximizes space and meets all of the needs of the project for both the men's, the women's, and it allows us a third option if we were mandated by the state to have a gender-neutral bathroom. We would still have that capacity internally to satisfy that requirement.
Great. So, Chief, can you just tell me, is it coming out over here, or what's?
Yeah, so the build out would be right there, that corner. That would be 24 feet out. There is 1 drain. Chris Gallagher and his team, they're going to do all of that work on scene for us to save the money. And a lot of the construction, which is essentially a block design, will be done prior to the wall coming down so the transition can be as quick as possible.
Great, great. Yeah, it does help to see this, so thank you.